Hey everyone, Demo here with a heroic Nexus King Salhadaar, or as I like to call him, Mr. Salad Bar. Raid plan and video walkthrough. This will be the 6th boss of the Manaforge Omega Raid. Shameless plug of like and subscribe for more content similar to this, but let's get right into it. So phase 1, the mechanics for everybody in phase 1 specifically is that you're going to clear your oath stacks, you'll take the claws out of the raid, and your dodge circles. Sounds very simple, but this fight, especially in phase 1, has quite some complexity, and I see a lot of wipes happening in phase 1. So the general strat is you're going to split into even raid groups that will be tightly stacked, most likely one on like orange and one on purple. I think you will not lust at the start on this phase. You will lust in P3 as it seems like it's the most difficult part. Tanks need to know the difference between Conk and Conquer and Vanquish, and I've got a spreadsheet for more of that a little bit later. DPS and healers will remove the stacks by being in the Conk group soak, so your tanks will get a Conk debuff on them that needs to be a group soak, and they'll bring that over to you. If you do not remove your 3 stacks, you will be MC'd after phase 1. So, tanks. Big part in phase 1 is all on you guys. Really important. So the Conquer mechanic is a group soak, and the Vanquish is a solo frontal. It happens twice for each, and you'll probably have 3 sets of it. And so, warning, this spreadsheet might blind some people. You've been warned. But I looked at heroic testing for 5 different guilds, and this is the order that the frontal and the soak happened. As you can see in the first set of soaks between all 5 guilds, it was the same every single time. It was a group soak into a tank frontal, into a tank frontal, into a group soak. And just a reminder of the tanks take more than one of these, so if they take 2 tank frontals, they're going to be taking a lot more increased damage from the second time normal tank things, right? Now if you look at the second set here between the 5 guilds, 2 of the guilds had, or 3 of the guilds had tank frontal, into group soak, group soak. And then the other groups had tank frontal, group soak, tank frontal. So there was some randomness, and this is what was seen across testing all across the board. Third set, some groups lusted, and so they missed this third set. But as you can see, even here we have some differences in what the mechanics that came out. Group soak, and tank frontal for Guild 2 and Guild 3. So some differences, right? So basically, I think that this is going to be set up like this. If your first set, you're going to have probably your main tank and your off tank. I think that they will most likely want to run a very strong defensive trinket. I think the Gallywix Combustible Bomb Suit will be phenomenal for this. And your main tank will probably have to run 2 defensive trinkets unless the damage isn't that big and they can run huge defensives. You could also have like a paladin immunity instead of running another tank trinket, but I think this is how I envision solving this on day 1. So on the first set, and the tanks are discussing that basically every set, the main tank will take, at least on the first set, he's going to take 3 mechanics. So he's going to take a group soak, a tank frontal. He will use a large personal external defensive trinket on the second tank frontal because he will be taking a lot of damage, and then the taunt will come in right here, and the last off tank will take the group soak over to the other group, and that'll be his only one. And then he'll just hold the boss. His stacks will fall off before the second set. Now, so it's a fresh. Everybody's got fresh debuffs. No, nothing lingering from the first set for the tanks. So now the tank off tank does the same exact thing as the main tank did. So he will take whatever the mechanics to come at him, but he's going to take 3 in a row. So he's going to take a double of something. So it could be he takes a tank frontal, and then he takes another tank frontal, and he'll use his big trinket here, and then he's going to still hold the boss and take a group soak because he hasn't taken a group soak yet, and then he'll put that in the right group, and then the taunt will come in, and then the main tank will take the group soak to the other group that needs to remove their stacks. In like that's this situation here, but in this situation here where it'd be tank frontal group soak, the second group soak, that's where he would use his big trinket, and the taunt would come in right here, and then the main tank takes the tank frontal. Okay, then you have your final third set. Main tank, the trinket most likely hasn't come off cooldown, so he needs a second trinket, or he needs a really immunity or some big defensive that's going to be able to take care of it. So main tank, taunt comes in right here. Off tank does the last part of the mechanic. If we look at it in the sets here, it would be group soak. He would use his big trinket right here. No taunt comes in yet because he can take a frontal because he doesn't have a debuff for frontal, and then the taunt would come in right here, and then the tank frontal from the off tank to finish it off. So that's how I kind of see it. It was random on testing. Blizzard might just make this as it looks like this every single time. Maybe it was a mistake. So we'll just have to see how it looks like on testing. But this will be, your tanks and your group will wipe a ton to this at the beginning because your tanks will either be dying or it's just not happening correctly or they're confused by it. But if you understand that your main tank going into the fight is going to take the 3 first of any order, it does not matter. And any time that he gets the second of any of them, so if he gets a second frontal or a second group soak, he uses a big defensive and big tank trinket. And then your off tank will do it on the second set, and then back to your main tank doing it on the third set. So I think that's like general idea here. The group soak, we'll see it in the video. You'll get the understanding of where it kind of goes and whatnot, and how the frontal looks as well. So going over here, in phase one as well, there's going to be, so after you do the tank soaks and the frontals, there's going to be dragons that spawn around the room. Each of these dragons around the room, they're going to start to like kind of disappear. Like one will just get removed, this one gets removed, this one gets removed. That's the order which the orbs are going to come out of them. It's just one orb that you have to dodge. It's pretty straightforward. It moves kind of fast though. So just want to make sure that dodging those, and it sometimes happens like during the soaks too, your second set of soaks. There'll be some claws. It's basically like a line debuff that comes out. You can pre-wind rush and allow those players to get out further, because you kind of want to keep everything in the middle here. As far as what we've seen on testing, probably the best strat of keeping the boss in the middle and dodging from there. After that, there'll be reset of the repeat of the set mechanics 3 times. So you'll do that 3 times, or you'll hit the 2-minute mark, or the boss reaches 50% health. Some groups, that's why they, on the spreadsheet, they did not get these because they lusted and they didn't get the third set. So you want to make sure that all the players have all their oath stacks removed, and remember to get those oath stacks removed being in the group soak. If they don't, they will be MC'd. And this could be something where if somebody misses a soak, they might have to do the 2 group soaks. So like if this DPS player, let's say the tank brings the group soak over to purple and he's out of it, he misses it, and he still has a stack left, he's going to have to know that you've got to be in this group soak then, either the next time, or you might have to do 2 at the very end with a big defensive. So if he misses a whole set together, he might have to just do 2 soaks. He might have to make that call on the fly saying, hey, this person has 2 stacks. We only have 2 soaks left, 2 group soaks left to remove stacks. So you're going to have to soak twice, and we're going to have to either external them or big defensive. So otherwise, you're going to start losing players to MC. But hopefully, it just works out where that's not a big issue for players. So as soon as that happens, you reach that 2-minute mark or 50%. The boss then phases into phase 2. It's 2 targets now. It's going to be King Salhadaar plus the Void Dragon. You're going to keep the boss in the middle of the room. The claws will still happen, so you want to take out of our middle area, take out of the middle, and then debuffs on players that spawn laser beams. So this was pretty cool on testing, looked awesome. It's a very difficult mechanic to kind of, it's so random. I'm not exactly sure, can't really understand like how this is going to play out when it comes live. You place the orbs out of the group but not on the edge, because I think there's a line that comes out from them, and the further these circles are, the harder it is going to be able to tell which is where your safe area. So I don't think you want to send the lines or the circles all the way to the edge of the room. I think you want to have them not super close to the group, but not super far away. So you can kind of tell like, okay, this beam is not going to hurt us. This beam's not going to hurt us. This beam's going to hurt us. This beam right here has potential. If it swings down this way, it could clip us. So we kind of know our safe area is down here. But at the same time, there's randomness to this. This line could have easily been like this. Okay, well now where's our new safe zone? Okay, well it could be down. Or both of these could go up with swing upwards. There's nothing saying that they have to swing down this way, right? So, or maybe top side is really good, a good safe spot. Maybe it's not. It's just tough to say when there's a lot of randomness to this mechanic, but I do think in most PTR testing, it seemed like they just kind of YOLO'd it and it worked. So, yeah. Going into that only happens for 1 set. So you do that 1 set, and then as soon as that happens, you go into your first intermission. So it's about 40 seconds. You want to split the groups. You already have your phase 1 groups. So just split those evenly from the start of the fight, and you can just go 1 left, 1 right. They go to the edge of the platform. There'll be a little portal, and you use your Reshi reps and extra action button to get to the intermission platforms. So 1 side left, 1 side right. Once you get there, there's 3 ads that are going to be on the platform. You're going to have a Manaforge Titan. He's going to basically slowly gather energy. Once he gets to 100 energy, he will explode and do raid-wide damage, basically. So he's the prior target. Make sure to kill him before he reaches 100. The princes will do these guys in the middle will do spinning beams and assign kicks to Nether Blast. The beams are basically 3 lines out of him, and then they just spin around pretty slowly, honestly. It wasn't really that big of a deal. And then the Reapers put large dots on players, so healers just need to watch those and make sure if you have one, you use a defensive. But pretty easy intermission here, in my opinion. And once you're finished with killing all these, you go right back to the portal, use your Rescue Wraps, and you'll go back to the main platform. So then on phase 2, what we saw with heroic testing is that it basically did what you just saw with all those beams and everything. It does it again, a second set before it goes into the final phase or second intermission. So again, if it works, however you place them in the start of phase 2, you'll place them at the end of phase 2. You'll do the same kind of strat and make sure that you dodge all the beams, don't get hit by it. After the boss does that, he will push into intermission 2. And so intermission 2, he's basically, Salhadaar becomes immune to damage, 99%, still can regen resources off him. And then the Void Dragon takes a damage amp, 100% increased damage. So what you're kind of thinking here is that the dragon is, the king is sucking the dragon's life out, and whatever's life is left will re-heal him, basically. So you're trying to do as much damage here. I still don't think you lost here even because of the damage amp. You still get them at a decent spot, but it depends on tuning. If you can't get them to auto phase, it just depends. It'll really just depend how first guilds kill it and whatnot. But I still don't think you lost here. And then he does a repeat of line patterns to dodge. So it'd be something like this where you kind of just go to the open spot and then he's clear and then he does another line pattern and you just find the open spot. Pretty straightforward. So phase 3. So after the intermission 2, boss will be around 50% for the final phase. He kind of auto transfers there. It appears to be the most difficult phase, like I've talked about, and I think you would lust. There's Kaiveza orbs. So if you remember from season 1, Kaiveza orbs that will suck based on location. After the orbs suck, Silken Court dodge lines. I'm thinking of the intermission with the not the mage Silken Court, but the more melee burrow guy. The Star Killer swing destroys the orbs, and then you repeat it. And then there's more orbs that stay up after each rotation of this, so it becomes more and more difficult towards the end. So it looks something like this, where you would place your 5 Kaiveza orbs. They would all suck you, but since you've got a nice, not all on one side, but a nice spread across, you kind of get sucked towards the middle. And then they would spawn out, and I wasn't going to draw on this because I figured it's just better to watch in the video, kind of your dodge patterns. But I think, wind rushes, roars, movement speed, and I think it's going to just be a YOLO on Heroic. Just live. Just try your best to live. Do whatever you can. I don't know if there's going to be a set strat of, this is going to make it perfect, but there probably will be because guilds are amazing, and they figure all that stuff out. So let's look at the video here. This is just normal testing, so there will be a few differences, but right away from the beginning, as you can see, people have oath stacks. These are the oath stacks that come out. The boss gives them to us, and we have 3 from the beginning. So this is your conquer. This is your group soak, and you want to make sure that you hit your left or right group or your 2 split groups. You want to hit one of them with it. So we hit blue here, and we clear, as you can see, 2 stacks on these people now. Some people with 3 because they're on the other side. Now the next mechanic is a vanquish. This is a tank frontal. Point this away from the group. And then a vanquish, and then a conquer. See, I didn't know what I was doing. I had no clue. He took double vanquish. I take double conquer, but I make sure to take it over to the other group, and they clear a stack. Now we are on normal, and we lost it on pull, and so boss is already going to transition to 50%. So that's the whole phase. Besides that, each of these dragons will shoot out basically orbs to dodge, and here are the claws mechanics as well. So you pull these out, and it just leaves area denial afterwards. So pretty straightforward. You want to keep those out of the middle as you want to keep it clear. As he's going into his basically phase 2, and now you can see that each of these players has an orb, and these are going to be the ones that the beams spawn from. So you can see that they're kind of spawning them in locations. And again, it just didn't seem any rhyme or reason which way is spawned. It could have been right on us. As you can see, these lines are pointed away from us pretty much. This one's on us. On Heroic, they do spin. On Normal, they just stay the same. But, it could have been all of them pointed at us. I don't know how Blizzard's going to do this mechanic to make it extremely unfair sometimes. Just to say, oh, that was super unlucky. 4 beams were really pointed at us and we had no safe spot. I don't know. That doesn't seem like a very great and fun mechanic, but it is what it is. So after that, the intermission is done, or the phase 2 is done with its first part, and now you'll go into your intermission. Take your Rescue Wraps over, and you'll kick the Nether Blast here and focus down the Titan. We will be able to see the beams just a little bit from the Prince in the middle. And I will pause it once we get there. So we are basically blasting this guy, and there's barely any time you'll see it move, but that's where it starts. And then it's a slow move right there, and we kill it. So finish everything else down, and then we head over again, and we do a second set of phase 2. So more people are going to get some orbs here. And again, this seemed kind of buggy on testing too. It like paused. It looked like he was trying to finish a cast, and if he did finish cast, he just had free damage time maybe. And like I said, buggy. Some kills he would have actually done the mechanics. He didn't do the mechanics. So now he's starting phase 3 or phase 2 intermission. So he's doing the King's Hunter. He's gonna basically try to suck the remaining life out of the dragon. I'm over here like an idiot hitting the salad bar because I have no clue that it's not a damage amp on him. It's a damage reduction. But yeah, they're finishing him off up there. There's the lines that dodge. Just find the open pattern. It's pretty straightforward. Now we enter into phase 3, final phase. We get these orbs. As you can see, everybody takes them out. And now it's going to be on heroic. That will be a suck, but then on normal it is not a suck. And then these are the orb lines that come out from after. And it's kind of just finding the spots. Now on heroic, these orbs will rotate, making it even more difficult. But on normal, they do not. And you will get more orbs on heroic. So we'll have to see what comes up, what strats top guilds come up with. The Star Killer Swing here will destroy one of them. You do not have to be behind, which is good to remember. Do not be behind. You can just kill it and just don't be in the line of them. And then it's rinse and repeat. On normal, you get 3 and 3, and you get more based on your group, but you're easily able to kill them every time and then just keep going. And then on heroic, like 2 will stay up, 3 will stay up. So then you're starting to get more and more and more, and this lines become more and more crazy. So, but on normal, this does seem pretty straightforward. Just kill them and keep going. So yeah, that's pretty much the fight. As you can see towards the end, we get the kill, and we just finish it off here. And that is it. That is the whole fight. That is Nexus King Salhadaar within the Omega raid coming up here in Season 3. Hope you enjoyed the guide. Give it a like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.